Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking out another HG Seed Freedom kit here. This is the Seed version of the Gelgoog. It's the Gelgoog Menace, Lunamaria Hawke custom version. So Seed has their own version of the Zaku, they have their own version of the Dom, they have their own version of the Goof. So we needed a Seed version of the Gelgoog here as well to round out the lineup, and I'm very much looking forward to it. As you guys know, I love the Gelgoog, so this new version of it should be pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and check it out here for today's video. Right, let's go ahead and check out the box and contents here. Lunamaria Hawke getting a lot of love. We also have a figurized standard kit of Lunamaria Hawke that's going to be coming out later this year. So if you're a Lunamaria fan, certainly a good time to be alive. But a really cool illustration here on the front, very nicely detailed and everything. A lot of very familiar aspects of the Gelgoog design, but certainly some differences in there as well. On the side, you'll see this is number 248 in the line, and also this is the thickest box in this series so far. We got quite a thick box here for this one. On the bottom side of the box, you can see an action pose here showing some of the Seed action system, some of the articulation in the neck, shoulder, and body there. So it should be very nicely articulated, which has been the norm for this series so far. All the kits are very nicely articulated. Got a couple of action poses over here where you can see using some of the different weaponry that we have included. It looks like we have two different versions of a beam rifle there. We have a sort of beam naginata, of course, you have to have that, and then a very interesting shield there. Going around to the other side, a little peek at what the unpainted kit is going to look like, and then a much larger image here of the front and back of the painted kit right there. A little bit about the story, and from there we can pop open the box and check out, that very large sticker sheet. Let's go ahead and take a look at this here first. So a couple of huge stickers there. I think those are going on the kind of wings of the backpack. On the actual mobile suit, it looks like there won't be too many, maybe a few. I mean, because if you omit those, it's a much smaller sticker sheet. So I think what you're actually going to see used on the kit is not going to be too extreme, but we'll see how those look in the review. Then again, large sticker sheets like this has also been sort of unfortunately a norm for this line, but again, at the end of the day, they're HG kits, so it's not really all that surprising. Here on the instruction manual, we have the box art minus the background, and then down here, illustrations and text showing the artwork there for the Gelgoog Menace, the text there in Japanese and in English. Over here about Lunamaria Hawke, obviously pretty familiar character, and then about Compass down there at the bottom. On the back side, again, just pointing out what the different weapons are: the enhanced beam rifle, the guided missile launcher, that would be on the backpack, the prototype advanced railgun, that weapon looks really cool, I gotta say. The Infernus LFPG looks like some sort of cannon there on the back. We've got the Refulgens beam shield, and the Magnus Gladius beam halberd. Okay, interesting. All right, some more about the Seed action system and our color guide down there at the bottom. On the inside, our parts list here also in color, as well as the kind of first half of construction there on the body is going to be in color. The rest of the instructions here in black and white on the inside. All right, getting into the runners, then we do have a few polycaps here, PC7 for a few polycap ball joints there in gray. Then our A runner here is in three colors, one light blue part over there, a couple of very light blue parts down here, and then some medium gray at the middle. And normally the A runner is the only multicolored runner in the set, but this time the B runner is also in four colors here. In this case, we have some very dark navy, not quite black there at the bottom, basically black sort of, and then some maroon here, some more gray at the top, and then a couple of off-white colored parts up there at the top. Whereas C1 and C2, more parts here in a medium gray for all of our joint and kind of internal frame parts. Whereas D1 and D2 in the main color of our armor, which is in a slightly pinkish red color here. Whereas E1 and E2, E1 being in that dark maroon color, E2 being in a gray color here for parts for the rifle. Runner F1 here, some more parts in off-white. Runner F2 is some clear pink parts there for the beam weapon. Runner G we have two of is some parts here in dark navy. Runner H1, a few parts here in this light pinkish purple color. And last but certainly not least, Runner H2 here is going to be our beam effect parts for the shield, which are in that, I can't remember what they called it, that same kind of procedure that they used for the clear parts in the that recent Shin Burning Gundam release, where you have this kind of really cool iridescent kind of glow to the clear parts just because of what they have injected into, I think it's like a iridescent pigment that they have injected into the clear plastic. It looks like something like that. Anyway, they look really cool. All right, guys, here it is, the Gelgoog Menace, all built up. Really, really cool kit, a lot of fun. If you guys were worried about the stickers at all, we'll talk some more about this in a minute, but the stickers really not too bad, most of which you could probably kind of do without, just kind of depending on what you want to do with this kit. So we'll talk some more about that in a moment. But as far as the accessories go, that's where we're going to start off the review, and the accessories are really cool on this one as well. Overall, just a really nice design. As we've seen with this line so far in general, the quality has been so good just in terms of the color separation, the part separation, the engineering for the articulation. A lot to love about these kits, and this one is no exception. So let's go ahead and get into it here, starting with the accessories. All right, so first off, when it comes to the hand options, these holding hands is all that we have. So unfortunately, that's just going to be the case with all these kits, it seems. For the enhanced beam rifle here, this is basically our homage to the original Gelgoog's beam rifle, with it looking sort of similar to that, having a similar kind of overall style and design, a similar camera there. You do have a sticker for the camera lens on this, but it's kind of simple anyway. And as you can see over around on here, you have a hard point, and we can use this included adapter piece. So kind of interesting, they went the route of an adapter piece to be able to plug this onto the back skirt. As you guys may know, that'll plug right there. Normally, what we would have is just a piece of plastic sticking out of the beam rifle here, and that would be what we use to just plug it directly onto the back skirt. So they decided to not go that route, but to go the route of a teeny tiny little adapter piece, which you have a high probability of losing. So kind of unfortunate. Then, at least for me, the much more interesting prototype advanced railgun here. This one is a really cool design, big, massive gun. And as you can see, this has the same hard point, which is going to use the same adapter piece if you want to plug this onto the back skirt. This does have a sticker for the camera right there. What this is basically a sticker that sticks onto the front, and then you wrap this up around over the top to give you that red detail and the metallic blue there for the actual camera lens. The secondary handle on this one moves front to back like that. You can have this all the way up, folded up to the front if you want. I didn't show you this on the other beam rifle, but the secondary handle at the front does also, of course, swing side to side like that. But yeah, this is definitely the more interesting of the two rifles, at least in my opinion. You will have a seam line on this one at some certain points, as you can see here and there, but it is a cool design that'll just fit into our holding hand. As for the shield here, so we've got some cool stuff we can do with the shield. This is obviously with the beam effects in place. You can pop those beam effects out. They're very easy to take in and out. And this is going to plug into the forearm and fit into the hand at the same time there on the left side. We can also take this apart and put this back together in the opposite way for the kind of collapsed form of the shield, smaller version of the shield there like that if you prefer. And then speaking of a collapsed version, we have the beam halberd here, which has a collapsed one, which you could put those beam effect parts into the collapsed version as well. Or you have the extended one, which is going to be the one that you're probably going to be using in hand, with these very cool looking effect parts on there going in kind of opposite directions there like that, meant to be sort of spinning around, I guess, but that looks really cool. As you'll notice, for the extended version, there's no hole in the handle. On the collapsed version, it has a little hole in the handle right there, and that's again for storage onto the back skirt right there. You can see that little peg sticking out right at the top of the back skirt. That's where you can plug this onto when not in use. And that brings us to our mounted weapon. So that's it for all of your external accessories or all your handheld or optional accessories. You have these parts up here on the backpack, which I guess are also optional. You could omit these parts off of the backpack, but you have the missile launcher on one side and the In Fairness LFPG over here on the other side. This one will extend out like that. That one does move. Obviously with the missile pod, nothing moves. It's just stuck in place like that, but that does extend out, so kind of cool. When you want to actually be firing that, you can of course turn this part of the backpack. You can rotate the part of the backpack up for this to actually be firing over the shoulder like so. Same thing with the missile pod. Those parts can extend up, kind of similar to like the Justice's backpack sort of. The wings will also extend out. We'll talk some more about the articulation in full in just a moment, but just to show you guys the kind of extended wings there, for example. But this is also a good time for us to then move on to talking about the stickers, because here on the backpack there's quite a lot of them. So right here, the white part of the wings here is a sticker. This blue part of the wing right there is a sticker. All the little red for the missiles is individual stickers there. And then here on the main wing, this is just a solid black piece. So all this dark red, white, and bright red that you're getting on there is just that big wraparound sticker that fits around the main wings there. And over here for the cannon, you have a sticker like we saw on the railgun, which is for the camera, which sticks on the front and wraps around there. Same thing for this camera on the underside of the cannon there as well. And then for the front of the cannon, 2 white stickers for the left and the right side that wrap around to make that white detail for the end of the cannon. So a lot of color apps there on the backpack, which you need the stickers for. On the main mobile suit though, actually not that much. Most of the colors that you see, like here the dark navy blue up on the shoulders, these white accents on the side of the arms, the head, the shoulders, those are all separate pieces, except for right here on the side skirt, it's a white piece, and for the light and dark purple right there, that's going to be stickers for the side skirts for the vents. And then similarly down here for the legs, on the inside and outside of the lower legs, you have a white part and then a sticker that will go around there for this vernier. It's in kind of like a dark gray and purple little detail right there. Other than that, obviously a sticker for the mono Y as well, and that can be rotated in the same style as the HG, the Origin Zaku heads, in that the piece that you need to move to rotate the mono Y is up underneath the head. So you kind of have to either pop off the head or pop it up like this and kind of reach up underneath there. Otherwise, if you have something that's not too sharp, you could just push the mono Y over to the side, because it is a molded detail there for the mono Y, and it does look pretty nice there anyway. But you are going to want to be careful with the head. With this big antenna sticking out the front, you would want to be careful not to break that off. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the articulation then while we're here. So the head will point up to about there, down to about there. Pretty nice range of movement here as far as like a Gelgoog's head goes. And this one does have much more of an extended kind of helmet there towards the back of the head, so compared to the original Gelgoog anyway. Some nice molded detail here at the front with the Vulcans, and these separate gray and dark blue parts here in the chest look really nice. As for our torso articulation, we have a really nice ab crunch here forward, back bend like that, side to side, nice movement here as well. The shoulder will extend far to the front there like that really nicely. You can bring the shoulder armor up and bring the arm up much more than 90 degrees, so pretty nice range of movement upwards as well. You can see that's kind of coming off the peg there, it looks like a little bit, but some nice rotation at the top of the arm. A double joint in the bicep, or in the elbow, I'm sorry, will give you a nice full bend there. The wrist is just on a ball joint. Going down here to the front skirt armor, actually this center piece will be able to move up and down, and the side pieces are also attached together, but you can clip those apart for individual articulation of these skirt elements, which is very nice. The side skirts as well can move up and down a little bit like that. The back skirt, however, is just going to be fixed in place, but some really nice detail both on the back side and on the inside with all of those thruster nozzles there on the underside of the back skirt. Again, nice callback to the original Goof design. And then the hip joint will be able to swing forward and back like that for a little bit more range of movement for the legs to go up. Although they are going to be a little bit limited, really only being able to come up to about 90 degrees, but then you do have a nice double joint here in the knee to get a nice full knee bend like that. Down here at the front of the ankle, this part will move independently, and the foot, the toe, does point up and down on its own, which is quite nice. The ankle will be able to move side to side, forward and back. Not really all that much, is a little bit limited, and you do have some more thruster nozzles up inside the back of the bell bottoms there, up underneath the feet. Nice detail, but you do have a little bit of hollow gap underneath the foot there as well. But again, that toe bend is really nice. One more thing I want to mention about here before we take a look at some poses with this kit and its various weapons and accessories is seam lines, in that we really don't have much of any seam lines on the main kit itself. One that I would point out to you guys is that here on the top of the shoulder, you can see on the main part of the shoulder that seam line is made up as a panel line detail, but on this part over here, kind of where it starts to stick up, that seems like it's just meant to be a seam line, or it's a seam line that's just meant to be sealed up, but it's not. But it is kind of making an odd gap there, so I'm not exactly sure whether to count that as a seam line or not. But almost everything else here on the backpack as well, anywhere where there would be a seam line, is made up as a panel line detail, even here on the cannon as well. Let's just show this to you right here. So they're hiding all of the seam lines just as panel line details, which just means that if you do want to paint this kit, you have very little work ahead of you when it comes to having to remove seam lines, which is always nice. One other thing that I do want to show you here is if we remove the backpack, I just want to show you the backpack connection for this, just being a single peg, and also just because the original Gelgoog didn't have a backpack, especially not a big gaudy like winged backpack like that. So just to kind of give you a sense of what the kit would look like without a backpack on it. I think this version of the Gelgoog definitely benefits from having that backpack. I think it does kind of add to the design, but in case you didn't want to have that, here's what that's going to look like here on the back, and this part will also move up and down a little bit there, which is kind of cool. But let's go ahead and take a look at the kit in some different poses here just to show off that very nice articulation that it has, as well as a very nice range of weaponry here. So between the quite unique shield, the beam naginata, or in this case the beam halberd they're calling it, and then 2 different beam rifles that we have included, a lot of really nice accessories that you have included with this kit, and again it makes for a really nice set just with the added color separation, part separation straight out of the box. I mean, it's going to look very nice. There are a lot of stickers there on the backpack. I think the stickers go on pretty well, and they're mostly being on the backpack, mostly being on the back side of the kit. They're really not that noticeable, so it's not like you're going to look at this and immediately notice like, oh wow, that's a whole bunch of stickers on that kit. So I think it's not too bad. And if you wanted to leave off the stickers entirely, it's also not going to change the look of the kit that much either. If you're just looking at it from the front, especially with most of them being on the back side, you're obviously not going to have all of the colors on the main wings, and then you're going to be missing a couple of the little color accents for the vents on the main body. But overall, another really cool kit, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting a chance to paint this kit soon. I'm really curious how cool this was going to look in a sort of like original Gelgoog MSV sort of style color scheme. I think would be very interesting to see how that style of color scheme would look on this kit, which is obviously a much more seed styled version of the Gelgoog here, of course. So obviously it's stylized in a completely different way from the original Gelgoog design, but I think it'd be interesting to see how like an old school MSV style color scheme would look on this. But anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts on the kit down in the comment section below. What do you think about the Gelgoog Menace now that we have a Gelgoog Seed version of a Gelgoog introduced into the Seed universe after having the ZakuAurelius, as I mentioned before, the Goof Ignited, to name a couple of the original like One-Year War Zeon designs transformed into their Seed versions in that series. It's kind of cool to see the Gelgoog added in here as well. But let me know what you guys think about the kit in the comment section below. I would highly recommend checking this one out. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun to paint up, but even if you're not painting it, it's just a lot of fun to build this kit. There's a ton of great accessories, and it's well worth the price. So if you guys want to check it out for yourself, check the link in the video description down below to USA Gundam Store. We've got this as well as all the other new Seed Freedom HG kits. They've all been a lot of fun, so definitely check some of those out there on the website. If you guys have any other questions, you can leave those in the comment section as well. But thank you guys so much for checking out the video here today, leaving a like and making sure that you're subscribed. All your support really helps out a lot, and I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Till next time, have a great day, guys. See you all later. Bye-bye.